Yeah.
Okay, let's do it. What's up, everyone? My name is Anthony D'Elia, and this is...
I'm Brian Raspberry.
And we are going to talk about some common challenges that first-time home buyers face. And so there are common questions that Brian gets. I'm going to just interview him and get his knowledge, and hopefully you find some value in that. So first thing is, what is the most common question you get from first-time home buyers?
Probably the most common question I get is, what's the minimum credit score?
Minimum credit score. So what what is the minimum credit score that's required?
Minimum credit score to actually buy your first home is actually at 580.
580
or higher, yes.
Wow. And so that's kind of lower than I thought it would
Yes.
be. Okay. All right, it's good to know. So now if someone has that 580 credit score, what are the, let's say it's lower than that. If someone has 560 or 550, do you ever have anyone come to you and say, hey, I want to get a mortgage, but my credit score is not 580?
Yes.
And so what are the typical things that you walk them through to help them? Or can you even help if someone's credit score is below 580 when you first talk to them?
Absolutely. There are ways to actually help people get their credit score higher. The biggest thing is obviously looking at their credit report first. Looking at their credit report first will actually allow me to see what programs I can put in place for them to jump their credit score to 580 or higher. With that being said, we have a credit simulator here we can work them through for what if scenarios, whereas if they paid out some credit card balances or pay this off or pay that off to actually help jump their credit scores.
Wow. So someone can come to you with a 550 credit score, and you can actually walk them through the process of helping them fix your credit.
That is correct.
Or helping them fix their credit.
That is correct. Yes, we can.
So, is there any particular example that you could give of like someone recent that you had to do that for?
Absolutely. I'm actually working with somebody right now. They have a 590 credit score. They actually are eligible to buy a home and they're feeling under an FHA loan. But with that being said, she wants to buy a higher priced home. So she's got to get at least a 620 or higher if I want to do what's called a conventional loan.
Okay.
So in her situation, she just has 3 credit cards, so we have to pay the balances down. Not close them, just pay the balances down. And once we pay them down, we can do what's called a rapid rescore and jump their credit.
So you looked at her credit report.
Yes.
And you identified the areas that would be contributing that you could quickly, if she fixed, could raise her credit score.
That is correct.
Okay.
So in this scenario, it would take us 24 to 48 hours once she got us the documentation, and I can turn it into the credit bureaus.
That's impressive. That's really impressive.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay, all right, I like that. So you're working with a client right now. You're helping her get her credit score up so she can purchase the home that she wants. Awesome. So what's the next most common question that you get from first-time home buyers?
I'd probably say the next common question I get is really, is there a certain income that I need to be at, or am I making enough money? Can I buy it on my own versus do I need 2 people on the loan with me?
So they want to know about the specific qualifications. So what you're getting is people who want to buy a house, but they're not quite sure they can buy a house. Okay.
Yes.
And so, in the mortgage world, walking them through that, are there like down payment assistance programs that people can get help with? Because that seems to be a big thing. If they maybe have minimal credit, they probably don't have a lot of money in the bank either for a down payment. So like what's a normal down payment assistance program that you could put
the down payment programs are available here in Arizona, allows you to actually take the money to use for down payment and or your closing costs. There are certain criteria that you have to pass to meet that. One of them being your credit score, the next one being your debt to income ratio, and then the third one being your income. But those are the 3 criteria that actually will help you get to the door as far as looking at down payment programs.
So you can help with the debt to income ratio because you can advise them on which debts they should pay off to help with that.
Yes.
And then with regard to their credit score, that would also help their credit score.
Absolutely.
Right. Okay.
Yes.
So the only thing you can't help with is income.
Can't help you there.
All right. That's fair enough. Fair enough. And so, like, what is a typical minimum down payment here for a first-time home buyer? Like, if they didn't have down payment assistance and they just had to come up with money, what's the lowest that they would need
Sure, great question. The lowest that they actually need, they can get away with 3%.
Wow.
Again, based on certain credit scores to actually be there. And just to kind of jump back a little bit with the down payment assistance programs here, there are certain credit criteria. There is also getting that free money too. So even though I mentioned 580, the minimum credit score to buy a home, there's certain credit criteria that you have to have in order to get the free money too.
Okay, so they want to see what, for example, like?
Well, the down payment assistance programs like to see you at least 640 or higher. If you're trying to get money from the state for down payment assistance.
Okay, so down payment assistance comes from the state of Arizona.
That is correct.
Wow.
Yes.
So what if someone meets the criteria, they have a 640 credit score, their income's in place, whatever it is, and they qualify for the down payment assistance, what does that bring it down to? Does it cover the down payment, or what percentage do they actually wind up usually paying?
Well, if they're 640 and higher, there's certain little percentages they can get, but let's go with the best case scenario here. They will be looking at 5%, and they can use that 5% for a combination of closing costs and or down payment. So the minimum down payment's got to be 3%, and they can take the other 2% and use it toward their closing costs.
Oh, okay. So technically, if they qualify for the down payment assistance, it can cover their entire 5% down payment.
Correct. Yeah.
Or 3% down payment and use the extra for. Wow, that's great.
Exactly. Again, based on credit criteria, though. But yes,
very cool. True. Okay. All right. Well, awesome. Is there any other things that you think first-time home buyers, like challenges that you commonly see, or does that kind of sum it up?
It pretty much sums it up. A lot of it really is just seeing where their credit report is at and seeing their credit scores.
Cool. So the first step is talk to your mortgage person, get pre-qualified, and make sure that your mortgage person is good enough to actually walk with you and walk through that process to help you get your credit score better if that's a problem, especially when you're buying for the first time. Credit score is not an issue though. I mean, for people that are buying a second home or this is their second purchase of a home, they could have credit issues too. So no matter what, you can help them identify areas that they can fix themselves.
That is correct. Absolutely.
Awesome. All right. Well, thanks guys. Thanks for tuning in. We'll catch you on the next one. Bye-bye.